Roaring Kitty is being investigated as we speak for potentially manipulating GameStop stock after he posted a screenshot from his account on Monday. So we're going to go through the whole, is he manipulating, is he not manipulating? But more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly what his position is worth as of this very second today. This article on Yahoo Finance just came out a few hours ago. The Massachusetts Securities Regulator is probing the trading activities of GameStop investor Keith Gill, also known as Roaring Kitty. Now, remember, an investigation doesn't mean anything. Investigation is just opened to check into things. Just yesterday, the people that have the accounts with Roaring Kitty, E-Trade, which is owned by Morgan Stanley, is announcing they could kick Roaring Kitty off of E-Trade for GameStop stock manipulation. The Morgan Stanley-owned online trading platform is reportedly concerned that investor Keith Gill is using his social media fame for his own benefit. Now, before we go any further, let's see what the actual definition, according to the United States Securities Exchange Commission, is on market manipulation. Market manipulation may involve techniques including spreading false or misleading information about a company. 2, engaging in a series of transactions to make a security appear more actively traded. And 3, rigging quotes, prices, or trades to make it look like there's more or less demand for security than in this case. And microcap stocks are more susceptible to market manipulation because they're smaller. Now, first off, GameStop is not a microcap. Second, my opinion, completely, I'm not a lawyer, so this is not me saying, oh, this is true. But to me, this is what would be the biggest one. Is he making trades? Is he rigging trades to make it look like there's more or less demand? He came out yesterday or 2 days ago and posted his account with what he had on GameStop, and it sent the internet soaring. $200 and some million. Does he have this money? A lot of people thought it was fake. If it's fake, he is rigging that to make it look like there's more demand for security than actually the case. If you remember, back in the day, the first short squeeze, and a short squeeze is where there's a lot of people shorting a stock, the stock starts to go up, and then the people who are shorting it have to exit that trade, causing the stock to go up even higher because they're getting called in those amounts of money. That is a short squeeze. That's what caused the stock to go up 1,000% in 1 month. Now, for those of you watching this and new to our channel, this is our Everything Money 24/7 channel. We do 4 or 5 videos a day where we react to what's going on in the markets, earnings releases, economy, things like this. So if this thing interests you, if any sort of that news interests you on a day-to-day basis, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. You'll get the information. You'll get it as it happens. Now, back to Roaring Kitty. So market manipulation is when someone artificially affects the supply or demand for security. Now, if that screenshot was fake, I think that falls into the artificially affecting the demand and rigging his trades to make it look like there's more demand than there actually is out there. And the stock at one point was up 75 or 80% pre-market. I think it ended up finishing 25% up. But this is big stuff. This is a guy who on the internet, after being quiet for several years, just put an image of him going forward like he was ready to game, and everybody took it as he's back in on GameStop. Let's see what the Wall Street Bets people are saying about this. Well, here's one. Jennifer Rodriguez said the Massachusetts Securities Regulator is probing the trading activities of GameStop investor Keith Gill. Now remember, it's probably based on public sentiment, but isn't it interesting now that a lot of people on Wall Street Bets are actually defending, some are attacking him? Let's go to some other ones. Matthew over here wrote, dude's screwing you people and you're rooting for him. Hilarious. Jennifer writes back, you're one of his major haters. Keep up the good work, sir. Now, I haven't been involved in this. I don't know what the hate is for, what the hate's not for. Supposedly, his first video, which I've never seen, laid out an investment thesis for GameStop. And I want everybody to remember one thing here. He wasn't alone. Famed value investor Michael Burry initiated in Q4 of 2018 a purchase of GameStop at $13.99 average per share, increased it by 21% at $12.42, sold all of it at $7.82, taking quite the loss on there, and then bought back in Q3 2019 at $4.32, sold 21% of the shares at $5.87, then increased the shares at $4.28, then sold at $4.68, $5.78, and $13.76. So overall, maybe made a few bucks, but if you remember, this is before the big run-up. So he got out before the big run-up on that short squeeze. So obviously, he probably would have, if he'd had it, I'm sure he would have sold it way before it hit 1,000%. But Keith Gill calls himself a deep effing value investor. So does he see something here? Or is this his manipulation to try to make a lot of money in the market? Here is his screenshot from June 2nd. Could he have manipulated this? I don't know. He shows actually owning the shares of GameStop, and here are the $20 call options. So what he's basically doing is for June 21st, he's hoping the price stays above $20 and he'd make a lot of freaking money, if that's the case. So what could happen to him? Well, guys, let's say the stock price falls way below $20. He owns these shares at $23.14. They would plummet in value. And these call options would also plummet in value. The difference with the calls versus owning the shares is these calls could be worthless if the stock ends below $20 on June 21st. Absolutely worthless. So this value he has right here of, this is 120,000 call options, which is really 12 million shares essentially at $5.67. A total investment of, what is that? 60 some million dollars. So $67 million. He could lose all that if the stock falls, plus the value. Look right here, the current value is $65.7 million. It could be very ugly for him. But the flip side is, what if the stock goes to 35? The stock goes to 35. His shares are now, 5 million shares are now worth $175 million. And on top of that, these call options are now worth, he paid $567 for them, but they'd be worth 15 at that point. So his profit would be $9.40 times 12 million, which would be 114 million bucks. So he could be worth, if it goes to $35, the 35 times 5 million, which is 175, plus the 114 in profit, plus the original investment, he would make a lot of money. He could be worth $300 some million at that point. So it's very feast or famine here. The question is GameStop worth this? Well, in the short run, as we all know, stocks are a voting machine. In the long run, they're a weighing machine. That's what makes me wonder if he's trying to manipulate it. He's got a very, 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 very short window here. And that's why the manipulation is being accused. He's sitting there saying, hey, look, on June 21st, this thing is either going to be worth a lot of money or very little money. So is that why he released that screenshot? To let people know, I'm all in on this. Guys, get back in on this. That's the question they're going to ask. Is it his way? Even if it's not him doing it as a way of manipulating in terms of fraud, like maybe this is all true. But guess what? My argument back would be, well, just because people react to it a certain way doesn't mean he's trying to manipulate something. Just like this. If you get insider information, you're allowed to have insider information. You can't trade on it. Now, most people think having inside information is illegal. No, it's not. A lot of people have inside information. It's illegal to trade on it. You can post your screenshots whenever you want. The question they're going to ask is, did he knowingly post this screenshot knowing it would manipulate the stock to a point where he could make a lot of money, this thing could skyrocket, and therefore make a lot of money for himself? The question you have to ask yourself is it stupid or is it manipulation? I can see the argument for manipulation. Deadline, June 21st. He needs to make this thing go up a lot very quickly. If you look right now, the stock's at $27.58. He's probably in the positive of this thing right now. Let's check out what that GameStop call option is actually worth this very second. So on this very position right now, the stock is currently at $27.50. Here are the call options for June 21st, 2024. And here's his $20 call. The bid and ask is $8.75 to $9.25. Let's call it $9 right here. So let's do some quick math. He had 12 million shares on calls times $9 equals $108 million. And then he has 5 million shares times $27.50. Let me do some math here real quick. So 5 million times 100, 35, 25, so 137,500. So his value on this right now, as of today, is 245,500,000. That's where he is as of the very second, as of making this video. Now, will that stay? Listen, any up or down movement is going to make the price of those call options just float all over the place. It'll go crazy up and down. What he's hoping for is that 2 weeks from now, on June 21st, he's going to be able to sit there and see the stock at above $25.60, whatever, $20 plus what he paid for those options to be. That is his break even. The options are for 20. He paid $5 and call it 70 cents. His break even is $25.70 on those call options. So if the stock ends up above $25.70 at 4 p.m. Eastern time on June 21st, he is in the positive. Between 20 and $25.70, he's only lost a portion of his money. Anything below 20, he's lost 100% of the call option money. And his shares just go up and down dollar for dollar. Every dollar it goes up, he makes $5 million. Every dollar it goes down, he loses $5 million. So guys, this is the whole situation in a nutshell. There's a lot of crazy allegations going out there. Let the government do their job. You better believe there's been enough attention to this that the government will interfere and get looking at it. Just to let you know, years ago, I had somebody defraud me out of $15,000 on an investment in Massachusetts, and I thought the government handled it very well, except for the fact that they couldn't do anything. The guy fled the country. And they said, Paul, unfortunately, we can't do anything. But it was a small amount of money, $15,000. He defrauded me out of it. And they said, if he ever enters the United States, we will know and we'll be able to talk to him. But in the meantime, he's in another country. We have no idea where he's at. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and watch more videos in the future. Thank you for your time.